6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Malavarachi and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. Today marks 5 years since the Easter Sunday bombings. The 5th anniversary of the attacks will be marked by religious services in churches across the country. The Umaoya Multi-Purpose Development Project will be vested with the public on the 24th. The program to provide 10 kilos of rice relief to low-income families commences from today. Sri Lanka has decided to import big onions from India. New price formula for construction materials. In news overseas, U.S. House to vote on critical $61 billion Ukraine aid package. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. Today marks 5 years since 269 people died and 500 more were injured in the Easter Sunday bombings in 3 churches in Colombo, Negombo and Batticaloa, as well as 3 tourist hotels in Colombo where 42 foreigners from 14 countries were killed. The 5th anniversary of the attacks will be marked by religious services at St. Anthony's Church, Kochikade, and St. Sebastian's Church, Katuapitia, in a peaceful march by the survivors and their supporters. Special programs will be held in churches across the country. The Catholic Church announced that it is to declare those who died as saints. This will also give the Easter Sunday attack an international appeal, because once we declare the victims as heroes of faith, the international community will come to recognize them more and it will become an international issue, Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit said, adding that the Church no longer trusted the authorities to reveal who was behind the bombings. The annual reports of the Office of the Repatriation has revealed that over 295 million rupees have been paid as compensation for people killed and injured and property damage in the Easter Sunday attacks. According to the report, 273.7 million rupees has been paid as compensation for the dead and injured people and 21.75 million rupees for damaged property. 1 million rupees in compensation has been paid for death and permanent disablement, a maximum of 500,000 rupees paid based on the percentage of temporary and permanent disablement as stated in the medical report. Compensation to a maximum of 5 million rupees has been paid for damaged properties upon the assessment of the Chief Valuation Officer of the government. The Umaoya Multi-Purpose Development Project will be vested with the public on the 24th of April by Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and President Ranil Wickremesinghe. President Wickremesinghe discussed the Umaoya project with the Iranian President in September last year when he attended the United Nations General Assembly, and the Iranian President expressed his willingness to visit Sri Lanka. President Wickremesinghe invited the Iranian President to join him in inaugurating the project, and President Ibrahim Raisi happily accepted the invitation. The Iranian President's visit was conveyed to Sri Lanka in January this year, and the Iranian President is due to visit Sri Lanka on the 24th of April. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi engaged in an observation tour at the Umaoya project yesterday. All arrangements have been finalized to vest this project with the public on the 24th of this month. The program to provide 10 kilos of rice relief to low-income families commences from today. Accordingly, this relief will be provided for a period of 2 months, covering 2.74 million families in the island, including Samurdhi beneficiaries. In order to help maintain the nutritional level of the identified low-income earners, the President has decided to provide 10 kilograms of rice per family per month for a period of 2 months, covering about 2.74 million families. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. Sri Lanka has decided to import big onions from India through Lanka Sathosa. India recently decided to send a stock of 10,000 metric tons of onions to Sri Lanka after lifting the export ban on onions for the island nation under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government's Neighbourhood First policy. Accordingly, discussions were held at the Ministry of Trade whether to carry out the big onion imports through state or private sector, and it was decided to import the onions through Lanka Sathosa. Chairman of Lanka Sathosa, Pasandayaba Bewardhana, says that 2,000 metric tons of big onions would be imported as the initial stock. The Ministry of Trade will introduce an estimated price range, such as a price formula to provide construction material to the people at a fair price. A range of estimated price will be introduced for construction material, including cement, paint, steel and electrical wires. The Customs, Ministry of Finance, Consumer Affairs Authority and the Ministry of Trade have considered the total spent on import taxes, custom duties and other import charges when it reaches the consumers to introduce the new price range. Thereafter, the consumer could identify the actual price of the particular item. A range of estimated prices has already been introduced for essential food items. The price range will be updated every Tuesday. Consumers could also access information whether trade are making excessive profits, and the estimated price range will be provided via media and online. Minister Manusha Nanayakara says that Mannar will be developed as a commercial city with the support of India. He made these comments opening another phase of the Jayagama Sri Lanka program at the Mannar Municipal Council Stadium yesterday. It was organized by the Ministry of Labour and Foreign Employment under the patronage of Minister Manusha Nanayakara. The program has focused on specified skilled worker visa project that provides an opportunity for Sri Lankans to earn a high salary in Japan. This mobile service will be held today as well. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Today marks 5 years since the Easter Sunday bombings. The 5th anniversary of the attacks will be marked by religious services in churches across the country. The Umaoya Multipurpose Development Project will be vested with the public on the 24th. The program to provide 10 kilos of rice relief to low-income families commences from today. Sri Lanka has decided to import big onions from India. News price formula for construction materials. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The main news story for this morning, President Ranil Wickremesinghe was engaged in an observation tour at the Ambaiwala dairy farm yesterday to look into the development activities in the dairy farm. A massive development program was initiated last year under the advice of the President. He looked into the progress of the development activities of the farm. He also appreciated the contribution given by the dairy products to the national economy. The Ambaiwala farm was established in 1940 and was privatized in the year 2001. Currently, the dairy production of the farm has increased considerably. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has pointed out the need to implement a development program to attract tourists who visit the Ambaiwala dairy farm. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
And in Watchlight this morning, the Water Supply and Drainage Board says that a 12-hour water cut will be implemented on Wednesday due to the sudden repairs at the Sapagaskanda electricity substation. Accordingly, water supply will be suspended from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. on the 24th to Kalaniya, Vattala, Biyagama, Mahara, Dompe, Jayala, Katana and Minuangoda Pradesha Sabha areas. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news. U.S. House to vote on critical $61 billion Ukraine aid package. No let-up for Gazans while the world focuses on Iran attack. Thousands rally in Spain's Canary Islands against mass tourism. Those are the headlines, and now let's move to the details of the world news. The U.S. House of Representatives is voting on a $61 billion aid package for Ukraine today. The vote has been delayed by Republicans for weeks, with some objecting to send money overseas instead of the U.S.-Mexico border. Ukraine, which heavily relies on Western weapons, desperately needs aid as it struggles to fight against Russia's invasion. Ukrainian soldiers are running so low on ammunition and they have to ration shells on the battlefield. While the media's glare in the Middle East this past week was diverted to Iran's dramatic missile and drone attack on Israel, there has been no let-up in fighting in Gaza. Dozens of Palestinians are killed daily, including many children, according to the figures from the Hamas-led health ministry. It now says Israel has killed more than 34,000 people in Gaza since the start of the war. As Israel's forces continue with their efforts to destroy Hamas, they have conducted small-scale, often deadly operations from the top to the bottom of the territory over the past week. Tens of thousands of people in Spain's Canary Island have rallied against a model of mass tourism they say is overwhelming the Atlantic archipelago. The protesters want limits on tourist numbers and curb on what they describe as uncontrolled development harmful to the environment and the residents. They stress that they are not against tourism industry, which makes up for 35% of Canary's economy. In 2023, 13.9 million tourists visited the 7 main islands. That was the world news, and now let's move on to development news. Lanka Hospitals inaugurated its new pediatric center recently, coinciding with the celebration of surpassing the milestone of 250 successful pediatric surgeries performed at the hospital. The guest of honor at the inauguration, former Sri Lankan cricket captain Arjuna Ranatunga, shared his personal experience with the pediatric surgery at Sri Lanka Hospital Center. He said that he spent most of his adult life struggling with obesity, but thanks to the pediatric surgery at Lanka Hospital Pediatric Center, he has been able to resolve the long-standing health issues and inconveniences. It has been truly a life-changing experience for all of us, he added. That was the development news. Sports news coming up.
Moving on with sports news.
And in sports news, Sunrisers Hyderabad equalled their own Indian Premier League record for sixers in an innings with 22 and 67-run victory at Delhi Capitals. Australia's Travis Head with 89 and fellow opener Abhishek Sharma on 46 cleared the ropes 6 times, while Shabazz Ahmed managed 5 sixes in his 59 not out. Host Jake Fraser threatened Sunrisers with 7 sixers in his 65 from 18 balls, but Delhi fell well short after losing their last 8 wickets for 90 runs. Sunrisers had already broken the IPL record for an innings scored twice this season, with totals of 277 and 287 a game, in which they also hit 22 sixes. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Haley's Solar has unveiled solar-powered water heaters to the local market. Commenting on the launch, Haley's Fenton's managing director, Hasit Premathilaka, states that the aim is to make renewable energy solutions accessible and also rewarding for every Sri Lankan household. With this product offering, we will continue to develop the hot water systems market by offering energy-efficient solutions that leverage the power of the sun. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, the ambassador for France in Sri Lanka, Jean-François Passe, visited the Hambantota International Port recently for a tour of the port and to explore possible business opportunities for French companies. Tissa Wickramasinghe, coordinating officer at the port, met with the embassy delegates and had discussions with the ambassador. He outlined the port's 5 core areas of business. That was the economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Anuradhapura, Vavuniya and Mannar districts during the afternoon or night. Showers may occur in the western coastal areas during the morning hours. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. Today marks 5 years since the Easter Sunday bombings. The 5th anniversary of the attacks will be marked by religious services in churches across the country. The Umaoya Multipurpose Development Project will be visited with the public on the 24th. The program to provide 10 kilos of rice relief to low-income families commences from today. Sri Lanka has decided to import big onions from India. New price formula for construction materials. In news overseas, US House to vote on critical $61 billion Ukraine aid package. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And now it's back to your regular Sunday morning host, my good friend Abhishek, on the other side of the glass panel to brighten up your day.